We've been adopted by whales.
Snuck up on me.
We just got a shallow water alarm on depth 1.1 meters.
This is what I have to wear on night shift. Frozen kids.
He's just crying his decision to go into cold weather. If you missed the first and middle part of our journey to Iceland, click on the link above to watch it.
Oh shit. There he is. That's close. Come on, buddy. There you are.
There is a very large whale playing some kind of Marco Polo game with me out here. I get the camera and I go, there he is. And then he pops up over there and goes, poof. And I go, whoa. And he's just gone by the time I get the shot lined up. It's been going on for about 20 minutes now. He's big, like he's got to be a boat length. Like I've only seen from his little ejection port to sort of halfway down the tail, and that's going to be at least half a boat length. It's a silver lining to ghosting along at 2.5, 3 knots in pretty well calm conditions, so that you get to do stuff like this without too much worry. Looks like there's 2 of them, maybe 3 of them actually, and they're got to be 3, maybe 4 boat lengths off the starboard side, and they're just cruising, just going the same way, same pace, a little bit forward, a little bit back. We've been adopted by whales. Come on, buddy. There you are. Whoa! That was really close. Whoa. Snuck up on me. You're very good at this Marco Polo stuff. Oh, we're right in the middle of them. I call that one Steve. Hey Boris!
I mean, definitely through sailing you get more of an appreciation of nature, but like, this is pretty crazy.
They would never come this close if we had the motor on. Like, they're just curious because we're just this black thing moving about their pace.
Like, you look like a whale, but you're not.
You don't sound like a whale.
You have a black whale-shaped bottom, but what is it?
Presently we're sailing in entirely the wrong direction in very little wind, but we're both I just don't want to start the motor and I don't want to like stop whale watching, so screw it, we're going south. Marco Polo!
That could have been really beautiful.
It could have been a magical shot. Marco! I've been playing with these whales for a few hours now, so...
We'll just insert some forest scenery nature. The following day, the wind dropped off even more, leaving us in a dead calm. Early in the morning though, once again, we had some visitors by the boat. This time, lots and lots of whales and dolphins popped up all around us, and we turned the engine off just to sit and watch them for a while. I think they're swimming underneath us. We just got a shallow water alarm on depth 1.1 meters. That's creepy.
Where are you? I can't see anything.
That's so creepy. Wow. So that's why we get, why the depth changes is because something's swimming underneath our boat. Oh, so weird. 1 meter beneath our boat. Ooh. Well, after about half an hour, I feel like we need to move on, or we're just never gonna get there. Like every few meters, or sorry, every few hours, we're just gonna stop and be like whale watching, and we're never actually gonna end up getting to Iceland. So decided to turn the engine on and carry on going. That was just amazing though. Just dolphins and whales everywhere. As Adam said, it was like I've seen more wildlife, sea life, mammals out here in like 3 days out here than we have in a whole year in the Caribbean. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty crazy.
Welcome to day 21. I'm pretty sure this might be the longest time we've ever been at sea now.
I think
so. As of today.
Yeah.
We've done, I don't know how many miles.
About 3,050 miles, I think.
Did we say on camera that we crossed our 20,000 mark the other day?
Yes, we did.
We did?
We still haven't had that beer though.
Oh. Well, it's getting cold enough that I wouldn't even have to put them in the fridge. Like, they're probably just sat in the V-berth, and I dare say they're at perfectly drinkable temperature, just sitting out. It is getting cold. It's currently 12 degrees in the water. The time right now is midnight. It's not true, it's not midnight, but it feels like my shift, the way my shifts go, I have about 1 hour of darkness. I go to bed at about 10 and Kiara comes up and it's just getting dark, like it's twilight, and then I come up at 1:30, which is when it's pitch black, and it's twilight again at 2:30. It's crazy and it is really freaking cold. We're definitely not in Kansas anymore. Actually, as of this morning, my chart position had us passing just above the top of Ireland. So we're officially the furthest north I've ever been sailing. By the time we pass Scotland in a couple of days, latitude anyway, that'll be the furthest north I've ever been. How about you, Kate?
For both of us, once we hit past Scotland, past Edinburgh for me, it'll be the furthest north I've ever been. Literally the whole night I've been watching that depth gauge go from 4 meters to 6 meters, fluctuating up and down for like half an hour at a time at least, and then it might go off for like 5 minutes, and then it keeps going up and down. It's so creepy. I think I freaked myself out most of the night thinking, what if there's just an army of whales below us and we just hit them and they're all sleeping, and like, what happens then? Why is it doing that? Why?
There it goes.
I don't understand.
My money's on some sort of like thermal layer. Like, it's got to be, it can't just be whales.
We are
like now, look, it's dropping. It was at 16 and now it's rapidly going up, 14 and a half. 14.1, 13. It can't be a whale just like hanging out, annoying the sensor. Surely. It's got to be some sort of thermal layer, that, like temperature inversion or something. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Breakfast of champions. Oh, I don't think we've really ever shown this bed, like how it comes together.
Afternoon naps, mid-afternoon naps in the bed.
It really is a great place to sleep though, because from where you're sitting, it's like there's the helm. Someone will be sat there, and you're not even 10 seconds to being up on the winches, ready to. Put a reef in. Whoever's on duty usually goes out on the foredeck and is ready to depart by the time you get up there, and then you're straight on the winches and the reef is in 30 seconds.
Is there a man in there?
This is what I have to wear on night shift to survive.
What's the temperature?
23. I don't know, it's 12 in the water.
We actually don't have a temperature gauge here, but it's currently 10 degrees in Reykjavik, and that's about 550 miles north of us right now. So I'm gonna guess it's also around 10 degrees here.
It's definitely the wind that gets you, like, because when you're like on the wind and you're in the shadow of the Dodger, the wind chill's not as bad. But when you're like beam reaching or broad reaching and it's coming in the back, it's really like, ooh, it gets in your eyeballs. I just sit here all buttoned up, just tears rolling out my eyes at night. Frozen tears.
He's just crying his decision to go into cold weather.
This is my life now. What have I done? Why did I leave the tropics? Life was so good, I had everything.
An Australian in the cold weather.
I just need time to acclimatise, okay? Unlike you, who's running around like bare legs in shorts, and they're like, yeah, it's summer.
Yeah.
It's summer here.
Every time when we go to bed in the sleeping bag thing downstairs, this is an Arctic sleeping bag. Like, this is for -10 degrees Celsius or something. And whenever I go down there, strip everything off, like pajama shorts on generally, because I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to be sweating in there once the heat finally gets to me. Adam goes in, he takes off
My life jacket.
this,
That's it.
possibly these, maybe, and Ugg boots. And that's him set underneath his Arctic sleeping bag. He is the worst at cold weather so far. Anyway, you just came up to relieve it.
It's quite a challenge to get all of this through here.
Ooh, 3,000 miles so far. Our total distance ever is 21,000 miles now. This trip has
21.
seriously added to the
Oh, yeah.
tally.
It's always that way. When you'll do like a whole season and you'll do maybe 500 miles, and then you do one passage for a few weeks, and it just like 10x's that. Not quite 10x's that, but you know, you'll put like a couple of thousand in the bank. You're like, wow, that jumped up. 3 days to go.
Disaster! Just woken up to a beautiful, beautiful sunrise, and I can't get my morning cup of tea or any porridge. The gas just has decided to not work, so just gone out to see whether we've used one full gas tank in the last 20-something days, which it sounds a little bit far-reaching. Like, we haven't used the gas that much on this trip, so it's really inconvenient timing, obviously. But of all the times for it to break, while we're motoring and while we're able to go and check on the solenoid and the gas bottles which were in the back, it's actually not that bad of timing. So hopefully we can figure out what it is, and that maybe I can get my cup of tea very soon. Thanks, babe. Ever the gentleman. Have you found it? Have you found the problem?
I go to bed now. It's just corroded wire. I just was going to pull it apart and check the voltage at the connection, and it just fell apart. Like, it's just crap. Probably poor quality wire in the solenoid, on the solenoid side, and the water just, despite our best efforts, the water got in there and turned it all chalky and green, and that was it.
You can go to bed now. Thank you. Well, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, a shift change, and this is what the sun looks like when it comes up. Well, it has come up, but it's also just barely set. It's set at about 11 o'clock, and it pretty much just the whole sky just didn't get dark. It just stayed kind of bright throughout the whole night, especially at shift change at 1:30, and then now second shift change at 5 o'clock. The sun's coming back up again. So we've officially had from around about 10:30 until about 4:30. So not very much darkness up here. It's really, really surreal. It's very strange. We are finally, the motor is off, which is really, really nice. Bit of a reprieve. We've only got, I can see about like 9-10 knots of wind, so it's not much, but it does mean that we can just like kind of ghost along. Especially because the last few days we've been motoring, the seas haven't come up. It's pretty low waves, and so it's kind of means that we're doing a nice like gliding along, only doing 4.5 knots of boat speed, so we're going like a little on the slower side, but any movement forward with wind and not engine is better. So going slowly, but slowly heading our way into Reykjavik. 100 miles away. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, Adam's still asleep, and we've just gone past the less than 100 miles, which is really cool. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get off, to just get there, really. So many things I'm so excited about. It's officially, I think it's day 24, and I can see on the map the first bit of shallow land that we've seen in 23 days. We'll see, the first one being the day we left. It's a pretty good feeling. We've almost done it. Sorry? No landfall still. Still waiting. We're 20 miles away from the place where we might hit a rock, but that doesn't quite mean landfall.
Gotta drive into the rock, then we can celebrate.
The wind is not quite doing what it was meant to do. We were meant to be seeing about 10 knots, which would have been absolutely lovely, just kind of gliding along. It's not really enough to create like crazy waves, but enough to like get us moving at about 5 to 6 knots. Unfortunately, we're seeing more like 6 knots of wind, so it is what it is. At least the engine's not on, but we're just not getting there quickly, which when it's the last day and we're super impatient, it's very annoying. But that's okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there soon.
They do call it the land of fire and ice, so I think they should add puffins.
What you doing?
Trying to find it. We're 40 miles from like hitting the island, so surely 20 miles out. So I'd say in about another 20 or 30 miles we should lay eyes on it.
What's the time now?
It's 5 o'clock, so it'll be like midnight. But that's not to say it's going to be dark, but it'll be still bright at midnight. It'll be much like this at 9 o'clock, and it'll be sort of low, no, not even low light. The sun will be there at 10 o'clock. Well, I shouldn't point like that. It's not a good cut.
Seagull. Which way to Iceland? Okay, thanks for your help.
Are you slowly going out of your mind?
Oh.
We just missed him going, here, Iceland, 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 Iceland. Here, Iceland, Iceland, Iceland. This has been such a long day. Oh, last day of the trip. So long.
With land looming over the very next horizon and the passage coming to an end, you can't help but look back at all the things you've overcome. We had sailed 3,600 nautical miles through the beaming trades and the variable horse latitudes. We skirted the iceberg limit into perpetual sunlight and arrived on the very edge of the Arctic Circle. For almost a month we had reached a gentle truce with the ocean. She tested us with a healthy dose of sleep deprivation, rain, squalls, mechanical failures, perpetual chafing, and injuries. Despite many times wanting to make for the nearest safe harbour, we pressed on, and for our efforts she rewarded us with fair winds, calm seas, incredible encounters with wildlife, and the most stunning arrival day anyone could have wished for. But before we get to that...
Oh, I see it, I see it, I see it from here! Hey, we did it!
We're here!
Iceland Falcon on 16.
I'll turn downstairs off.
Good evening to you, sir. We're headed for the port of Reykjavik. Over.
last port of call was St. Martin in the Caribbean. Over.
St. Martin, Caribbean, that's all fair. Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much. We're very happy to be here. Standing by 16.
First time in 26 days.
Oh yeah.
Gonna drop the main.
Wow. All right.
Finally, we're here.
Put it to bed for the first time in 26 days.
Yeah. Sails need a bit of an examination. Unfortunately, there wasn't any amusing land wobbles this time. Although, in saying that, we are still on a floating dock.
Yeah.
So maybe once we get onto flat land, I might be a bit iffy. I feel myself because it might be amusing. All right, what's next? Customs has just come around. They've made sure that we are all a-okay. They've done our passports and all that.
Anything.
Yep, exactly.
They're very professional, very
Yeah,
pleasant.
they're lovely.
About as pleasant as you can be for customs agents.
At 7 o'clock in the morning.
At 7 o'clock in the morning. Incline. We don't do inclines, Adam. My legs are like, what?
Do you have the land wobbles?
Not the wobbles, but they're definitely like, my legs are screaming at me, being like, what is this? What is this?
Because of that. No land wobbles for me. I think because the last few days were actually kind of flat, so it made my body adjust a little quicker than what it would have done if I had come straight from like rolling seas to flat land. Ah, God, we are in Iceland.